So when they never called you, you were waiting for your contract in the mail, like, hey, it's supposed to be the next season. Where is it?
The production company called and said, oh no, they called us when it wasn't coming back and said, it's not coming back, but you're not allowed to say anything.
And then you went into a deep depression. And Julie, you were like, let's just go out and party and continue on. I'm like,
no, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. That was very depressing, and I was still doing stand-up and continuing on. You know, I've had shows. The rejection of it and whatever didn't hit me until later, until I realized the depth of the garbage pail that I went into. So
we did start partying and a lot worse, and she was doing stand-up, and she just pushed into the stand-up, and we had the podcast and also the election. So it was also like a really collective anxiety because Trump had just got elected. So while sometimes if you're in your own depression, but everyone else is like, come on. And like, you'll be like, oh, it can like motivate you to stop. But it's like, everybody was so depressed. And at least I had that. I was like, well, at least I'm not alone. I mean, literally, like, everybody in our circle anyway, anyone we knew was absolutely beside themselves. So we did, it was like, it was hard we just started becoming really like dark. I mean, and it's definitely still hard to come back from, but I think the podcast has definitely helped. At the same time, I stopped watching Bravo.
Right.
So then there really is nothing.
Right. Because normally you'd have Housewives or whatever and be like, because Housewives is such a fucking comfort. It is like eat comfort food, candy, or anything of it's drugs. And so cutting that out was definitely hard. But definitely doing the podcast, and then we added 2 more shows, and now focusing on doing politics, but now we're doing our 2 Patreon shows we have aren't any politics at all. So
really
now sort of in the groove of like doing all of it. We're back to the smorgasbord of like talking shit about whatever we want, and we're doing politics. And now let's just keep the train pushing, and we're our own bosses. We're in charge of ourselves. We're not, it's empowering. We're getting our legs, back in shape.
Is that why you left the other company that you started with, the Watch What Happens company? Because you wanted to be your own boss, which I recommend. Like, I always say to people, like, when you talk to someone, like they're part of Betches or like Barstool or, whatever, you're like, that does sound impressive, but really my advice is just do it your damn self, because like you will be edited, you will have no fucking control.
Yeah.
Right.
And whatever money you're making, it's not worth it.